Hello and welcome to Victoria's Hallo YouTube channel. Hopefully you follow me on Hallo. If you don't or you're not familiar with what Hallo is, it's an app that allows you to connect with native English speakers. You can have audio conversations, you can video chat, you can message people, you can watch live stream videos done by teachers as well as live stream videos done by some of the students. So it's a really great place to learn English. If you want to follow me there, you can search for me at Victoria36. But yes, this is my YouTube channel. And today I'm going to be doing one of the Hallo curriculum videos. This is intermediate level English, and this is lesson 2. So let's get started. So first we're just going to do a reading passage. I'm going to read the whole thing. And then if you guys have any questions, you can leave those in the YouTube comments, or, we can get like a conversation going on about like what happened. Mostly though, it's a chance for me to read it. You can listen to it and then, pause the video, go back through, take the time to also practice reading it out loud. That would be great, especially if you're getting ready to take any of the English language proficiency exams. This will be good practice. So, okay, I'm going to start reading. This passage is called Late Night. I am so sleepy today. It's hard for me to stay awake because I stayed up too late last night. My grandmother is visiting, so we had a special party for her birthday. My mom cooked her favorite food and made a chocolate cake. We played card games and looked at old pictures. My grandmother opened her gifts. She enjoyed the evening. Everyone stayed over for a long time. My mom wanted me to sleep early, but I asked her if I could stay up. She said I could stay up for another hour. After an hour, I tried to sleep. I closed my eyes, but I couldn't fall asleep. I finally fell asleep after midnight. Okay, so that was it for the reading passage. For pretty short paragraphs. I don't think any words in there stand out to me as being really difficult. Just make sure with pronunciation, right? Another hour, that can be kind of a hard one. Couldn't, right? And this type of word where you see that right there is called an apostrophe. A word where you see that, it's called a contraction, usually. There are other times where an apostrophe indicates that something's possessive, but in this case, right, like this word is a combining of two words. It says could not. I could not fall asleep. But as we get more advanced in our English language, and if you want to be more like a native speaker, a lot of times we use these contractions mostly because I feel like we're lazy. I couldn't fall asleep. It's just faster. So don't forget that. It's is a contraction of it is. It is hard for me to stay awake. It's hard. So, yeah, some good practice, right? And then if you think about what's going on here, it's just someone's having a hard time. They can't stay awake. They're really tired because their grandmother's birthday was last night and they stayed up too late, right? So hopefully you understood the story. Okay, speaking phrase, it's hard for me to, and a verb. So as it says right here, this phrase means that, it's used when you're trying to talk about things that are difficult for you to accomplish, for you to do. So I'm just going to read the example sentences, right? It's hard for me to accept the truth sometimes. It's hard for me to understand my boyfriend. It's hard for me to balance my checkbook. It's hard for me to stay focused at my current job. And I'm pretty sure we saw that, right? It's hard for me to stay awake, right? So that connects our reading passage to this phrase. So my challenge to you would be, try and think of 4 example sentences of your own. something that's hard for you to do. The thing that comes after it's hard for me to needs to be a verb, right? So accept, understand, balance, focus, stay focused, right? But to focus, those are verbs. Verbs are action words, things that you do. It's hard for me to run a marathon, right? Running, that's a verb. Another example for me, it's hard for me to learn Spanish, right? Like whatever it is for you personally. Try and think of some sentences. That way you can incorporate it into conversations you have. Practice is the best thing you can do. Like, don't just learn something and be like, oh yeah, I know it. Like, actually force yourself to use what you're learning when you talk to someone. This kind of just goes on, right? It's a way of saying something's difficult. I'm having a hard time understanding you. I'm having a hard time answering your question. I guess it's just kind of a more formal way. Like, we see this a lot on Hallo. Students will be like, I don't understand. It's just kind of elaborates on that. So I want to say it's a more advanced way of saying the same thing, though. You could just say, like, I don't understand, but also it's kind of nice. It's like, I'm having a hard time understanding you. It kind of shifts. It's like, it's not that I'm not understanding you because you're doing something wrong. It's like, I'm just having a hard time. Like, I as a learner am having a hard time. So if you can help me. Adding an adverb can express in more detail just how difficult something is. So an adverb is a word that describes an adjective or, generally that's about it. Like it's used, and you see them a lot. They're usually words that end in ly, right? Like extremely is an adverb, has that ly ending. So I'm having an extremely hard time trusting you. I'm having a very hard time finding a job. Like extremely, very, they kind of are those words that give us greater explanation of the situation. Like I'm having a super hard time trusting you. Like just whatever that extra word is that helps you kind of emphasize. Cool. So this here is a conversation. It's hard. I feel like doing conversations would be so much easier if I had someone else here. But I don't. It's just me. So I will try and do these in different voices. At the very least, just try and follow along, and then you can hopefully tell who is speaking. If you have a friend that's learning English with you, someone be Katie, someone be Steve, and go through this conversation, this dialogue yourselves and practice, okay? Hey Steve, are you hungry? Oh, hi Katie. Yeah, let's go grab some lunch. What do you want to eat? I'm having a hard time deciding. How about pizza? We always have pizza. Let's try something new for once. Okay. Do you have any suggestions? How about sushi? It's hard for me to eat raw fish. All sushi isn't raw. I know. I just don't feel like having sushi today. Okay, then what should we eat? Maybe we should just order takeout. You get sushi and I'll get pizza. Actually, I think I want Chinese food instead. Chinese food does sound good right now. Hey, we agreed on something. Let's go out to a Chinese restaurant. Actually, I'd rather eat at home. You've got to be kidding me. There you go. That's the conversation again. The best way to do this would be to do this at least 2 times, again. Grab a partner, someone be Katie, someone be Steve, go through the whole conversation, and then switch. If you were Katie the first time, be Steve the second time. That way you get to practice everything. And obviously this is like a great conversation to know how to have, to talk about food you like, to decide things. I think a lot of times when we're learning a new language, like when I was learning Japanese, it was difficult. Like I didn't have a lot of conversations like these because I was scared to. It was just easier. Like if someone recommended something, it was just like, okay, yes, I'll do that, or I'll take that. I wasn't able to, eat the food that I wanted or have the experiences all that I wanted because I let things hold me back. So don't be afraid to like continue to have long conversations. Don't let that hold you back. Okay, so our topic for today has to do with different body parts. Specifically, I guess this first part is the arm. I think it's all on the arm. Oh, no, just kidding. Spoke too soon. I have some leg stuff, at least. Okay, so we're going to talk about the different parts. This should be easier, almost, if I flip my camera. Maybe I will flip my camera. No, I'm just going to keep filming this way. But your forearm, it's the part... That's so much harder if I don't actually film myself. I guess I can show it on this. The forearm is like this part of your arm, like the flat kind of surface. I'm showing it on myself, even though you guys can't see me, but this right here is your forearm. Your elbow, obviously, is this right here, what you bend. Your wrist right here, where a bracelet would be, is your wrist. This is your hand. Like, this is the Hallo hand, but that's your hand. Your knuckles are these parts of your fingers, right? Like, that's your knuckles. And your fingers are these. So, it's your thumb, your index finger, your middle finger, your ring finger, and your pinky finger. So, which aren't on these lists, but just in case you wanted to know. Some common arm phrases: I sprained my wrist. Sprain is not when you break something, but it's when you still injure it. So you might wear like a small, maybe not like a full-on cast, but you might wear like a brace, or you probably don't want to like use your wrist if you sprain it because it needs to heal. I jammed my finger and now it's swollen. To jam your finger could mean like you hit it up against something, or like you can jam it in a doorway, like if someone like shut a door on you or something, and your finger got caught, you could also describe that as being jammed. I'm having trouble bending my elbow. Yeah, so your elbow, obviously, again, is that part that hinges. It's between your forearm and then like the rest, like your biceps, like upper arm area, and so you bend your elbow, right? She has stubby fingers. Stubby is used to describe fingers if they're very short. I like to consider myself not to really have stubby fingers, but, some people do. And my grandparents both have arthritis in their hands. That's actually true. My grandparents do have arthritis. Arthritis is a disease that causes, like, inflammation in your joints, and it's really painful, and so it makes it difficult for you to, like, bend and move your fingers. So their hands look less than normal. They look kind of creepy sometimes. But yeah, it's really painful. I would Google that if you have any more questions, because it's kind of hard to describe if you don't know someone that has arthritis. So now let's talk about the leg. So this whole thing, right, it's your leg. Probably doesn't look like that because you're not like a professional boxer. Maybe you are. Your calf is this area of your leg. Your thigh is the upper part of your leg. Your knee is kind of like your elbow, but for your leg, right, it's the middle part that bends. Your ankle, same thing. It's like the wrist of your foot. So an ankle and your toes. And I think it's funny because foot's not on here, but this is your foot, right? Like, I love how they left that out. Common phrases: my legs are sore from working out. Yeah, if you've ever done like a lot of squats or lunges or anything, like your legs, leg day, then they'll be sore. When I run long distances, my calves begin to cramp. that's really painful, right? Cramping is when your muscles like kind of just like tense up and you can't relax them, and it really hurts for until they can relax again. And I stubbed my toe on the corner of the table. So kind of similar to jam. I guess jammed your finger usually implies like it was caught in between something. To stub your toe just means you hit it against something. So I did this once. There was a couch in my grandparents' house, and I like totally just like whacked my foot straight on into like the foot of a couch, and it hurt super badly. Like I like almost cried. I definitely wanted to scream, but it was like 1 a.m, so I didn't. Okay, and today's idiom, you've got to be kidding. This is used when someone hears a true statement that is hard to believe or something ridiculous. Basically, it implies that you must be hearing a joke, right? And so the example is if this conversation, I guess, with your mom. Hunter, you need to be home by 10 o'clock tonight. You've got to be kidding me. I'm 35 years old, Mom. Right? And so the you've got to be kidding me is like, you've got to be joking. Like, obviously, this is ridiculous. I'm 35. Like, I'm an adult mom. I don't need to be home at 10 o'clock. I set my own curfew, right? So, oh, and that's it. Okay. We don't have any other slides on that. But just think of other situations. You've got to be kidding. Or if you want to be like sarcastic or joking, playing around, don't forget to like tell people like, just kidding. But yes, trying to think some examples in my own life. Like, I don't know, it's been kind of crazy just with all the stuff with coronavirus, just people. Honestly, when I first heard some of the news, I was like, you've got to be kidding me. Like, you've got to be kidding. They've canceled all classes. I don't have to go to work anymore. Like, it was just, it was like kind of in shock. Like, it was really difficult for me to believe. And so I was like, obviously this has got to be a joke or something, but it's not. So it's kind of just like an expression of surprise, right? It gives you something to express like how confused or how surprised or how excited you are. Because you could also say that like in a very surprised, like you could say it in a positive way, like, if my friend called me right now and was like, we're going to Disneyland, I'd be like, you've got to be kidding. And she'd be like, no, really. And then, we'd be super excited about it. So, yeah, I guess that's it for this lesson. Again, my name's Victoria. You can find me here, obviously on this YouTube channel and on the Hallo app. And good luck learning English. Let me know if you have any questions, because I'd love to help you any way that I can. So, bye.